Good morning. We will discuss lecture number 4 of Auditing Practice Part 2. This is just a continuation of our previous lecture. And this topic will present accounting for development cost and some other problem-solving exercises. Let's continue. Generally, development cost should be capitalized or can be treated as an intangible asset. Capitalized, as mentioned in this statement, the amount or the cost can be included as part of intangible asset. Development cost may qualify as intangible asset if it meets the following criteria. Letter A, the technical feasibility of completing the intangible asset so that it will be available for use or sale. Technical feasibility means it is possible to use that particular intangible asset depending upon the nature of the business. It will be available for use or it can be sold to other entities who has the intention to use such asset. The intention to complete the intangible asset either for use or for sale. So the development cost will be recognized if there is really the intention to complete and the intention to use that particular intangible asset in its business. And letter C, the ability to use or sell the intangible asset. The company is spending a lot of money for development costs related to an intangible asset should have that strong ability to sell or to use that asset, meaning to say the company is really needing that particular asset to pursue its business operations. And if the company can make it saleable to other entities, why not? Letter D, how the intangible asset will generate probable future economic benefits. So, this particular development cost will qualify as intangible asset if this particular development cost would provide benefits in terms of sales revenue or other revenue that can be generated. Letter E, availability of resources or funding to complete development and to use or sell the asset. The company should have the resources, meaning to say they have the money, they have the other assets, they have the premises to complete, they have sufficient funding. So all of this should be available for the development cost to qualify as intangible asset. Letter F, the ability to measure reliably the expenditure attributable to the intangible asset due its availability. Measure means we can assign a specific peso amount for that particular intangible asset. and the expenditure should be reliable. All those costs attributable to this particular intangible asset should be reliable. Reliable means supported by all needed documents. Let me emphasize that the above criteria was set to easily determine as to when the development cost will be considered as intangible asset. This is just a clarification because in some instances, companies treated this as expense. If we can meet the above criteria, we can easily make a decision whether these amounts or costs should be classified as intangible asset. The auditor must be aware of these criteria because during the audit, there may be some instances that development costs are treated as intangible asset where in fact it is not, or vice versa. The auditor must scrutinize the supporting documents behind development cost so that the auditor can immediately make recommendations whether they should be classified as an outright expense or as an intangible asset. Next, research and development cost as capitalized expenditure. So let's discuss the standard concerning this. Cost incurred for materials, equipment, and intangible asset related to research and development activities which have an alternative future use can be capitalized. What is the key word? Alternative future use. If there is an alternative future use, the amount is spent for research and development should be capitalized. If the materials and equipment used in the creation of an internally generated intangible asset are still can be used in other activities or the creation of another intangible asset, that can be capitalized. That is what we meant. Those materials, in some instances, the materials that we use, the equipment that we use in developing a certain asset can be used in another asset. Those costs can be capitalized. Next, the following subsequent expenditures should be charged to research and development expense. So we are now talking of expense, not an asset. Next, cost of materials used. Letter B, depreciation of equipment used in research and development, and amortization of intangible asset used in research and development. So in this presentation, we are just clarifying that the following should be expense as far as accounting treatment is concerned. After the creation of an internally generated intangible asset, the above expenses should be charged to expense. The logic behind is that the above are recognized during the business operations in related to such intangible asset. So, we are more concerned on the logic. The above are recognized during the business operations. in relation to such intangible asset. Let's now proceed this problem solving exercises. This is the story of Victoria Company. The auditor assigned to examine the books and records of Victoria Company found everything in order except for the intangible assets. He suspected that some errors were committed in the inclusion of some items in the intangible asset account, which does not qualify as such according to the accounting standard. This particular problem is about the audit of intangible asset. Everything is okay except for the intangible asset account. The auditor will scrutinize the contents of that particular account to ensure that the amounts reported therein should really pertain to the intangible asset account. So we have here franchise of 1 million pesos. We have computer software of 1,500,000 pesos. So we have deferred charges of 100,000 pesos, patent 2,500,000 pesos, customer list purchase 500,000 pesos, copyright 700,000 pesos, deposit with advertising agency 400,000 pesos, bond sinking fund 1,300,000 pesos, goodwill 4 million pesos. So we will identify which among these items should really belong to intangible asset. We have trademark 900,000 pesos. We have research and development cost 2 million pesos. The assigned auditor made his own computation for the correct amount of intangible assets so that adjusting entries can be recommended. What do you call this procedure? We call this re-performance procedure. The auditor will repeat what the accountant has made. The auditor do his own computation of the correct amount of intangible asset. The question is, what is the correct amount of intangible assets as recommended by the auditor? The correct answer is letter A, 11,100,000 pesos. So I will present in the next slide how we arrive at 11,100,000 pesos. This is the solution, the correct amount of intangible assets. Franchise, everybody knows that this is an intangible asset, 1 million pesos. Computer software is also considered as an intangible asset. Computer software is either developed by the company itself or purchased outside the company. The amount given in the problem is 1,500,000 pesos. We have patent. Everybody knows that this is an intangible asset, 2,500,000 pesos. Maybe Victoria Company was able to invent something related to the product. Customer list purchase is also an asset of Victoria in the form of intangible 500,000 pesos. Copyright 700,000 pesos, another example of intangible asset. Goodwill, 4 million pesos. And then we have trademark. This is one of the most common intangible asset. Trademark, 900,000 pesos. The total amount per audit is 11,100,000 pesos. This is our answer to this problem. As per audit means this is the computation of the auditor in doing re-performance function. That is what we meant by re-performance. In actual practice, this particular computation of the auditor as written in the working paper should be shown to the accountant so that the accountant may argue on what the auditor has made depending on their discussion. If the accountant will agree, most probably the accountant will agree because this is the correct computation, the auditor will propose adjusting entry. Let's clarify for the following. Deferred charges is synonymous to prepaid expenses or expenses paid in advance. Hence, will not qualify as one of the components of intangible asset. That is why this is not included in our computation. Deposit with advertising agency. This is also prepaid expense. Just like prepaid rent, it is not an intangible asset. This will become expense in the future or the following year. Bond sinking fund is the amount of money deposited to the bank and set aside as settlement for the maturing bonds payable. This is being done by some companies if they issue bonds and they need to ensure that payment or settlement can be done in the future, wherein they will set up a separate fund and it is labeled as bond sinking fund. Research and development cost is a different account title used for the amount spent in creating an intangible asset. It is part of the process in coming up of a finished intangible asset. That is why it is excluded in our computation. Goodwill is included. So some of the audience may argue, why did you include goodwill? It is included. It remains an intangible asset, although it is unidentified. Goodwill, everybody knows, is the result of a business combination wherein the consideration transferred is greater than the net identifiable asset of the acquiree. Let's continue. This is another problem about Maria Gracia Company. In your audit of Maria Gracia Company, as of December 31, 2020, you noted that the company acquired a trademark relating to the introduction of a new process. In obtaining the related documents like official receipts, invoices, contracts, and other documents, you were able to gather the following information. We have the cost of trademark, 3,500,000 pesos. Expenditure in promoting the new product, 50,000 pesos. employee benefit relating to testing of new process, 200,000 pesos. Let's continue. The auditor strongly feels that the amount of intangible asset presented in the statement of financial position is erroneous. That is the instinct of the auditor. The auditor is practicing professional skepticism. He decided to do his computations so that adjusting entries can be recommended by him. The question is, what total amount should be capitalized as intangible non-current asset in respect of the new process? Capitalized means the cost should be considered an asset, specifically intangible non-current asset. The answer to this question is letter B, 3,700,000 pesos. We will proceed to the next slide so that we can see how we arrive at 3,700,000 pesos. This is our computation, the cost of non-current intangible asset. The cost of trademark is 3,500,000 pesos. We will also consider the employee benefit relating to testing of new process, 200,000 pesos. What is the logic why we include employee benefit relating to testing of new process? Because without the testing, we cannot proceed with this particular trademark that we have developed. So the total is 3,700,000 pesos. That is why we choose that particular answer among the four choices. Employee benefits, let's clarify this. Employee benefits refer to the honorarium and overtime pay given to employees who are directly working for the creation of intangible asset. Usually, the employees assigned in the development and creation render overtime. Usually, the job is beyond their job description, beyond their normal salary. That is why it is considered part of the intangible asset. Expenditure in promoting the new product is part of the marketing and selling expenses. This is the reason why we excluded this particular amount in the computation of intangible asset. Let's proceed to another problem, and this is about Wendy Company. Wendy Company is experiencing some confusion as to the proper classification of items to be included in research and development costs. Management wants to ascertain that whatever is amount to be reported in the statement of financial position should be in accordance with tax rules and accounting standards to avoid further arguments with internal revenue regulators. The accountant consulted this matter to you as the assigned auditor in the company. In the course of your verification, to address the concern of Wendy, you were able to gather the following information. So here we can see equipment acquired for use in various research and development projects. The amount of that equipment is 975,000 pesos. And then we have depreciation on the above equipment, 135,000 pesos. We have materials used, 200,000 pesos. And then compensation cost of personnel, 500,000 pesos. Outside consulting fees, 150,000 pesos. Indirect cost, appropriately allocated 250,000 pesos. The total amount of which is 2,210,000 pesos. Let's continue. The total amount of 2,210,000 pesos was reported as research and development cost. It is an asset in the statement of financial position. Being an auditor, practice professional skepticism. You know, obviously this is not correct. So you have to do something as an auditor. So the question is, what total amount of research and development cost should be recognized as expense for the current year? The answer is letter B, 1,085,000 pesos. What can you notice about the question? The question is asking what total amount of research and development cost should be recognized as expense. We are more concerned on expense. The answer, 1,085,000 pesos. Let's proceed to the next slide so that we can see the computation. So this is now the solution. Depreciation on equipment, naturally it is an expense because this particular equipment was used in research and development. It is part of research and development expenses. Materials used, 200,000 pesos. The materials used will only benefit the research and development within the 12-month period. Compensation cost of personnel. This is an expense because this relates only to this particular research which has no assurance as to its success. Indirect cost appropriately allocated, 250,000 pesos. The word itself, indirect, it is not directly related to whatever purpose of that research and development. The total is 1,085,000 pesos. That is why we choose this among the four choices. Let's clarify the following. Equipment acquired for use in various research and development projects is one of those items included in the account title Property, Plant, and Equipment. It is not part of research and development expense. It is very basic for accountants like you, for auditors like you. Compensation cost of personnel, let's clarify, refer to the honorarium of employees and personnel directly working to research and development. What they are doing are beyond their regular job description. Outside consulting fees are not included because research and development will push through even without consultations. It is not a mandatory cost to do research. It is optional. Maybe they want to know additional information. That is why they consult other parties. So this is now the proposed adjusting entry. We will correct the mistakes committed by the accountant in this company. As an auditor, we have to propose or suggest. Debit equipment, 975,000 pesos. That is the amount that should be segregated from the research and development expense. We will debit research and development expense 1,085,000 pesos. This is the one that we computed a while ago. And then professional fee, we will recognize it separately, 150,000 pesos. And then we will credit research and development cost of 2,210,000 pesos. We will eliminate this particular account title because this is erroneous in the statement of financial position of Wendy Company. That ends our lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue discussing the next lecture in our next meeting. Thank you and God bless everybody.